All right. Had a question that I thought would make for a good topic today. How do you keep disciplined with dry fire? Like how to make dry fire purposeful and not doing the same old transition drills. So that's definitely a thing that can happen. You're dry firing and you find that you just kind of fall into the same habits over and over again, the same drills with no real direction, no real drive. So the first thing I would say is what's the purpose? Why are you training? What are you trying to accomplish? If you don't have a clear goal, then you're not likely to accomplish anything. If you don't have a direction that you're going, you're just going to kind of muddle about. So I would say identify the things you need to work on and then pick one and use that as a theme for your next several days or your next week, for instance. So you can pick gun handling. Maybe your draws and your reloads aren't great, or pick vision or, movement. Maybe you don't like the way you're doing entries and exits or the way you're shooting on the move, or you can choose marksmanship fundamental stuff, tension on the gun or grip pressure changing as you're pulling the trigger, pushing on the gun, shoving it around, that kind of a thing. Then set that theme and work that theme for the whole week. For instance, let's take vision as an example. So let's say, hey, I really want to work on vision, picking out small spots, getting my eyes ahead of the gun, that type of thing. We're still going to work on everything this week. We're not just going to do transition drills all week. But while we're doing those things, our main focus is going to be vision. So for instance, you might work on designated target one day. Now, designated target is highly vision specific, highly vision intensive. We're moving our eyes rapidly. So for those that aren't familiar, designated target would be like you put 4 or 5 targets up, as many as you want, but like 4 or 5 targets, and you pick one as target 1. And so you'll draw, come up on target 1, then you'll transition to target 2, then back to 1, then 3, then 1, then 4, then 1, then 5, then 1. And you do that 1 or 2 times, then you pick a new designated target. So then you'll draw to that target, then you'll go to another one, then you'll go back to the target, then you'll go to a different one, then you'll go back to that target, then you go to a different one, then you go back to that target, then you go to a different one, go back to that target. It's very, very vision intensive. You're really working on getting the eyes ahead of the gun, picking out a small spot. So you can do a lot with designated target. Maybe you work half of your session just with the transition piece, no trigger pulls. You might not even do a draw. Get the grip you want on the gun. We're going to isolate all those pieces, and I'm just going to bring the gun from like a low ready up to the designated target and work through. Just really being hypercritical on how does the gun arrive on each target. How are my eyes doing picking out that small spot? Is the dot arriving precisely, cleanly where I want? And are my eyes leaving the instant the sight picture looks good enough? And then you might do the second half with trigger pulls. Now, while you're doing the trigger pulls, you might notice, I feel the tension in my hand building, or I feel myself pushing on the gun. Those types of things. I feel myself kind of shoving the gun around. I don't want that. But really, the theme of the week is vision. So we're going to take note of those things, but we're not going to stop to break those down. We're going to keep working the vision aspect, and I'm really assessing. My focus is getting the vision piece better, getting my eyes out of the gun, having the dot show up where I want it. Is it arriving precisely where I'm looking and not anywhere else? Is it not taking an indirect path? And then are my eyes leaving to get to the next spot immediately? And so that's one day. The next day, you might work movement. So you got 3 cones set up on your dry fire area. You might draw and work 2 or 3 targets, move to a different position, work 2 or 3 targets. And while you're moving around, and you might not love the way you're entering or exiting positions, the real piece is, hey, how am I doing getting my eyes to these different targets? As I come into position, am I picking out that small spot on that target as I'm arriving? Is the dot up and ready to shoot as I'm arriving? And then I'm getting my eyes off that target. Even if my feet are too close together, I'm a little off balance. You're going to take note of that, but this week's theme is vision, so we're going to really focus on vision, but we're also incorporating the other pieces. Then the next day you might do gun handling. So it's some fast, nasty, rapid shooting, like Blake drills or something like that. Or like an El Prez type set where we'd have 3. So El Prez would be 3 targets. You're going to draw, shoot 2, 2, 2, reload 2, 2, 2. A Blake drill setup would simply be drawing and shooting 2, 2, 2. It's more of a transition style drill. So while you're doing reloads and draws, if you miss your draw a couple of times, you're not going to stop and rebuild everything and kind of tailor your practice around that, because it's really about how is my vision working? Am I getting ahead of the gun? Am I dragging through the targets, or am I stopping precisely where I want to get those shots off? But we're still working the other pieces too, incorporating them to keep things fresh and new. The next day, maybe you do transitions in depth. So we'd set up several targets at different focal depth to force our eyes to do the vision focus change piece. Then the next day, maybe you do wide transition. So we've got targets on 2 walls at like 180 degrees. So you're having to turn eyes and head in order to get the transition done. Really working the side to side piece of it. So all week, our theme has been vision, but we've worked several different skills in the meantime. There's marksmanship pieces in there. There's gun handling pieces. There's movement pieces. And then at the end of that week, maybe you have a live fire session. Maybe you've got a match or whatever. You kind of do your cold assessment. If you just have live fire training, pick out some things that you don't like how they went, or some low hanging fruit. Or if from your match, you would kind of clinically assess with kind of impartiality what you didn't like or the pieces that need the work. You pick out a few new skills, look at what the theme of the week's going to be, and rinse and repeat. And if you do that, that's going to keep you focused and really tuned in to what you need to work on. And we're really driving at a specific skill or set of skills. And it doesn't have to be just one skill. You can add a couple of things for the week, but keeping it narrow, but mixing in all of the stuff, but really keeping the focus, the thing I'm trying to improve, narrow on that theme for the week, will help keep you focused. Another trick or another way to keep things really focused for dry fire is to keep the dry fire duration short in duration, but high in intensity. So what I mean by that, it is much better to have a 15-minute session where you are completely focused, hyper fixated, and critically assessing, crucially, brutally assessing your performance on every single rep, and looking and like really proactively looking at what can I do better? How do I want to change this next rep? What did I not like about the last rep? How do I make that better this time? Okay, was that rep better? Did I get the result I want? I did on this target, but not on that target. Okay, now I need to clean that target up. Just for 15 minutes, it is 100% full mental energy, like a laser beam on what you are doing. At the end of about 15 minutes, you will probably be mentally fried. The moment that level of mental exertion, that mental focus, the moment it starts to lag at all, cut it off. You're done. You're no longer getting 100% of your physical effort or mental effort on the training. Go ahead and stop. It is better to do one 15-minute all-out session a day or one 10-minute all-out session a day than like a 30-minute session where you are kind of fading in and out and you scroll on your phone a little bit and then maybe you come back and maybe I'll work on reloads for a little while. Maybe I'll do kind of like draw to first shot for a little while, and you're just kind of partially in there. It's much better to keep them short in duration, high in intensity. If you have the means to do multiple sessions like that a day, it is much better to do like 2 or 3 10-minute, like super hyper focused sessions for a total of 30 minutes than one big 45-minute session. You'll get more out of shorter kind of high intensity work than a long drawn out kind of fuzzy around the edges session. And then, keep rechecking your skills. So at the end of the week or at the end of a couple of weeks, after you've been working on these things, your next live fire session, do a cold assessment. You kind of assess your cold shooting right out of the gate, set something up that you want to work on, shoot it, and don't necessarily try to go all out. You're just like shoot it the way that you would want to perform at a match or at an assessment that you care about, and observe what you see. Take note of the things that you don't like, the pieces you would like to improve, and that is your next homework. You set your theme for the next week and you rinse and repeat. So if you've got any questions kind of about what I talked about, feel free to leave them down below. If there's anything else you want to talk about, like I say, I'm all ears, but hopefully that kind of helps keep your dry fire focused and always driving forward, kind of making you keeping it fresh so that it doesn't necessarily fall into a rut, which is definitely a thing that can happen. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Feel free to like, share, subscribe if you want to. If you don't, that's cool too. Life is a choose your own adventure sort of thing. So feel free to choose the weird ending, I guess. Anyway, guys, I hope that helps. Take care.